Goes in. Guys, you know what, yeah? As you guys can see in the thumbnail, and again, I'm no Arsenal fan, and as long as Arsenal don't do what is required, I couldn't care less personally. But I just find it funny, man, that Arsenal, and if I'm an Arsenal fan, you seriously have to be questioning where the hell this club is going, and what's the ambition of the club. Because big up to Sham as well, man. I think you have to seriously consider questioning the ambition of this club, And if you're an Arsenal fan, you must be very concerned at the fact that Arsenal, and as you guys can see the title, Arsenal never learn. And again, they never learn. They never learn, And the fact that they're in talks with Noni Madueke is, if you're an Arsenal fan, or a serious Arsenal fan, should I say, you have to be seriously questioning what is going on at that football club. The two players that they've been heavily linked with, Benjamin Sesko and Noni Madueke, are not gonna take Arsenal to where they need to go. These are two players that Arsenal are looking to bring in. Two players that don't even start for them. They're just squad players. So Arsenal, for me, as I've mentioned previously, and again, I want to hear from some Arsenal fans. If you're an Arsenal fan, then let me know what you think, because to think that Arsenal are bringing in two players that don't even start, what do they think is going to change? Like, it's mad. I mean, Chelsea must be laughing, thinking they've got Arsenal interested in Madueke, and Madueke is not going to come into Arsenal's team and start. He's going to be a backup for Bukayo Saka. And it's like, why are Arsenal going for a player that isn't going to come in and literally take Bukayo Saka's place? Because for them to go to another level, this is what they need to do. They need to go and get players that are going to be better than their starters. And what happens is that if you've got someone that comes in, and that is better than Saka, or that can compete with Saka, or the same with Odegaard or on the left-hand side, it then makes the bench stronger. But the fact that they're going for Madueke, who isn't an upgrade on what they've got already, what is the point? Like, it doesn't make any sense. And again, if you're an Arsenal fan, and I want to hear from you Arsenal fans, let me know what you think of this Madueke news. Because as I said, man, it's embarrassing if you're an Arsenal fan to see that you're being linked with Noni Madueke. Big up to Gamer Forever. Big up for coming on. Guys, let me know what you think about Madueke. So Sham says, how much are they paying for Madueke? I'm not so sure how much the fee is, Sham, but from what I'm hearing, Chelsea are looking to accept nothing less than about between 40 and 50 million. And I tell you now, if Chelsea get 40 to 50 million out of Arsenal, like, Arsenal need to hang their heads in shame, because Madueke is not good. He is not good. And as I said, Arsenal just don't learn. Big up to Cool Kids as well. Arsenal just don't learn, and Sesko, Madueke, two players they're looking at bringing in, and you're looking at a combined fee, if was to be believed, of about 100 mil. If we're saying, how much is Sesko going to go for? I'm hearing 70 mil for Sesko. I'm hearing about 40 to 50 for Madueke. And they're two players that, for me, don't take Arsenal any closer to winning the league title. And to think that Arsenal are going to spend over 100 million, it looks like, on those two players, questions have to be asked. Serious questions have to be asked. And if you're an Arsenal fan, I wouldn't even blame you guys for even, boycotting this club, because to think Arsenal finished third, twice in a row. Second, I think 3 times in a row. To think that's happened, the manager's still there, and the fact that their reaction to that is to go and sign Madueke and Sesko is madness, man. It's absolute madness. And Gamer Forever says, I'm a Manchester City fan. Listen, yeah, gamer, you're not under any threat from Arsenal. That's what I will tell you. Because to think that Arsenal are buying Sesko and Madueke is crazy business, man. Crazy business, you know. And as I said, I can see why they're going for Madueke, because they're probably looking at it as someone that is potentially can offer the same kind of threat as Saka, you know, in terms of the physicality and the pace. So I can see why they're going for him, you know, because he's going to be backup to Saka. But if he's going to be backup, you don't go and sign a backup for what's rumored 50 odd mil. That don't make no sense. You know, it makes no sense whatsoever. You know, you've got Ethan Wanyeri there, and just play Ethan Wanyeri. You know, play Wanyeri, and which means you haven't got to go and get a Madueke. Or better yet, just go and use that money on getting a striker and a left winger. And the funny thing is, I'm not an Arsenal fan, but it just makes me laugh how Arsenal just keep on doing the same thing over and over again, and that's not signing what is required. You know, yeah, it's shameful, man. It's absolutely shameful. But as I said, if you're an Arsenal fan, let me know. Let me know if you think that Madueke is going to be a good signing, because you know I can't believe anyone tells me Madueke is what they need. You know, because unless Arsenal are going to try and play Madueke as a left winger, you know, which again goes against what they've been doing, because as we know, he likes to play inverted. So unless they're gonna go and do that, then I don't know, because this signing makes not one bit of sense. Not one bit of sense. Big up to Yostin Raimundo Garcia as well. What's that? Spanish, Colombian. Big up, man, for coming on. Um, so yeah, as I said, guys, I think this Madueke news, man. I see it this morning, and I was thinking, are you from El Salvador? Oh, big up, man. Big up. South? That's North America or South America? El Salvador. I think it might be North America. Um, yeah, big up, Yostin, man. Big up for coming on. Um, yeah, guys, let me know what you think, man. Don't worry. Yeah, cool kids, no worries, man. Guys, let me know what you think about Madueke. Do you think Madueke is gonna be a good signing or not? Give me your questions. Let me know what you think, because I just can't understand what Arsenal are playing at, really. You know, we all know that Arsenal need a striker. Gyökeres has been mentioned. You know, Benjamin Sesko, Osimhen. You know, they still haven't got that over the line, and to think that they're going for Madueke and they're in talks. You know, Chelsea must be laughing. That's all I can say. And why Arsenal keep trying to get Chelsea's cast-offs doesn't make any sense to me, you know. But Chelsea must be laughing, you know. Gamer Forever says, what team do you support? So I support Man United. Unfortunate at the moment, because the way this club's been over the last 10 years, 10 plus years, has been a disgrace, you know. But yeah, Man United supporter. But hopefully, you know, the good times are on their way back. But at this moment in time, I remain cautious, you know. Sham says they need a left winger, so it doesn't make sense for them to spend on the right winger. Yeah, exactly, Sham, exactly. To think that we all know that they need a striker and a left winger to take them to the next level, and they're going for Madueke, again, is laughable, because he's not going to be a starter. He's not going to displace Bukayo Saka. And if Arsenal want to get better, then yeah, they would need to obviously get someone that can, in a sense, dislodge Saka from the lineup. But in theory, that makes the team stronger, because if you've got someone like a Saka on the bench, which again is unlikely, but if that happens, again, you've got someone off the bench that can make a change. That's what it's about, you know. So yeah, Sham says his market value is 40 million. So yeah, again, and Madueke is not even on the transfer list. You know, there's been no talk that Chelsea want to move him on. So Arsenal are literally going in for him. And if you're going to go in for a player that isn't on the transfer list, and his value is 40 mil. Listen, I dread to think how much they're going to spend on him, because just like with Anthony Elanga, you know, Newcastle looking to spend 55 mil on him after having a 45 mil bid rejected. Don't be surprised if that's a similar price to what Arsenal might have to pay for Madueke. And if that is the case, their fans should riot, because that's unacceptable to go and spend that amount of money on a player that's not really needed and isn't good enough, rather than just go and put that money towards someone that they can improve on the other side of the pitch. And as Gamer said, he should probably take Grealish, 100%. Jack Grealish improves that team, no end. On that in that 10 where Odegaard's playing, or on the left, he's an instant upgrade, regardless of what people say. So to think that Madueke is the favoured option, and again, you can see why they're going for Madueke, because he's probably not going to command too much money. He's probably someone that, if he's on the bench for Saka, isn't going to, kick up a fuss. But again, that's not going to take Arsenal over the line, because they need better than that. Big up to Gamer. So Chelsea bought him for 28.5, so they'll be making a profit. Yeah, listen, Sham, Chelsea are laughing, man, because to think that Chelsea have got Esteval, and if anyone watched the Chelsea game yesterday against Palmeiras, I missed the game, but I see the highlights. Esteval, what a finish, and it's ironic, isn't it, that Esteval, the team that he's joining after this Club World Cup, actually scores the goal for his current team against the team he's joining. And what a goal it was off his right foot. Cole Palmer doing what Cole Palmer does. What a player he is. And then let's say Esteval in an own goal. So as I said, if they're gonna get rid of Noni Madueke, and they've got Esteval coming in, there's rumours of Kudus. I'm telling you now, Chelsea are absolutely laughing. But who knows, man? Who knows? Gamer says Son is also mid, but he's too soft. Yeah, I think with Son, we clearly know that Son isn't the same Son that he was. He's someone that his legs aren't the same. If you look at Son's game, a lot of his game was based on pace, and that pace isn't there anymore. So he's banking on his experience, and I think the longer he plays, the more central he might play, because again, he's not going to be able to go on the outside as frequently as he did. And as I said, yeah, they definitely need an upgrade in that sense. I mean, they've signed Mattis Tell, which again, the season that he had was odd that they kind of went back in for him. Eze for me is ideal. Eze for me is a 10, but obviously can show his versatility and play out on the left. So yeah, Son's a good player, but they definitely need to go and upgrade on Son for sure. So Shams just said, I've just read Chelsea want 50 mil for him. If Chelsea get 50 mil for Madueke from Arsenal, as I said, their fans need to ask serious questions of the board, because that's unacceptable to do that, man, in my opinion. That is unacceptable to spend 50 mil on a player that you don't need and isn't good enough. So madness. So Son was my favourite winger in the league a few years back. Yeah, he's not a winger, Son. He's a wide forward. I think we need to get. I think what's important, and big up to Gamer as well. I think it's important to understand what players are wingers and what players are wide forwards in terms of goal scorers, and what players are creators. And this is what people, I think, seem to get mixed up. I'm going to give you a list of names, yeah? And obviously, if you guys can answer in the chat, it will let me know how people see certain players. So if I was to say to you Mo Salah, let me know in the chat, what is Mo Salah? Is he a winger, wide forward, or a 10 from out wide? Let me know what you guys think. Because I like having these discussions, because it's good to see how people see certain players. Big up to DXR, big up, bro. So Gamer says, So yeah, Salah, Mo Salah. Is Mo Salah a number 10 from out wide? Is he a wide forward or is he a winger? Let me know, guys, in the chat what you think Mo Salah is. I'm gonna give you a few names, and we're gonna see how we can differentiate between the different positions. So Gamer says he thinks Salah's a CM. I think Gamer Forever's watching the wrong is thinking about the wrong player. So DXR says winger fam, not sure though. Sham says inverted. So Mo Salah's a wide forward, and the reason I say he's a wide forward because wide forwards, he's not a winger. Wide forwards are the ones that are tasked with getting the goals. You know, so basically you can call him a wide striker or a wide forward. You know, so wide strikers in the game are players like a Mo Salah, a Kylian Mbappe when he was out when he plays out wide. Players like trying to think now because they're few and far between. Brian Mbuemo, you can say is a wide forward. These guys are strikers from out wide basically, which is why you need to have a number 9 that can facilitate the striker from out wide getting numbers. Mo Salah is a prime example. You know, he's a wide striker playing obviously out wide. You know, number 10s from out wide obviously are more creators. So I'll give you another player, someone totally different. Jadon Sancho. What is Jadon Sancho? Is he a winger? A number 10 from out wide, or is he a wide forward? Let me know, guys, in the chat. Let me know. So Gamer Forever says winger. I think we're going to have differences of opinion on this one, but Gamer says wide forward. So we've got winger, we've got wide forward. What else? DXR's not sure. And Sham says winger. Okay, so Jadon Sancho, yeah, big up Gamer. Jadon Sancho, you know, he could be classed as a bit of a hybrid, you know, in terms of he can fit 2 roles, you know. So, but for me, Jadon Sancho is a number 10 playing out wide, and I'll tell you why. Jadon Sancho's game, first and foremost, is to create, you know. And if you're a creator, you know, you create. Look at Eden Hazard. He's a prime example. Eden Hazard was actually a number 10, but because of the way football was there, you know, and systems, and you got to look at, you know, the managers want to play free in midfield, be a bit more defensive, but someone like Hazard had to play. So if you're not going to play Hazard as a number 10, the way to play him would be from out wide, but he can still play as a creator from out in that position, you know. So if you look at players like Hazard, he's a prime example. He was a number 10 playing from out wide, you know, and Jadon Sancho, for me, is a number 10 playing out wide. However, he can be classed as a number 10 from out wide and a sort of winger. But the kind of wingers that I look at are players like Noni Madueke, funny enough. So Noni Madueke, for me, is a winger because he wants to take on his man at every opportunity and take him on the outside. Whereas Sancho wants to link with the striker and be a bit more creative. So he's a number 10 playing out wide. You know, I'll give you a few more names. Gareth Bale. Anyone remembers Gareth Bale? So Gareth Bale was a winger, someone that wanted to take on his man on the outside with his pace. You know, as he got slightly, well, I'd say more at Tottenham, he was more of a winger, you know, and then when he went to Real Madrid, playing a bit more inverted, and even later on at Tottenham as well, playing a bit more inverted, he was more of a wide forward in terms of getting numbers, you know. Cristiano Ronaldo, as we know, when he was playing out wide, was a wide forward because he was tasked with getting numbers, you know. Riyad Mahrez, a number 10 playing from out wide, even though he got numbers at Man City, but Riyad Mahrez was a creator first and foremost, you know. So it's just differences of different players, as I said, how you can kind of determine what sort of players that they were. So Gamer says, what about Nani? Nani, I'm sure, is a wing. Yeah, exactly. So Nani was a winger. Nani wasn't a wide forward. He was a winger because Nani's game, I mean, Nani as well can be tasked with being a bit of a hybrid at times as well. But yeah, he was more of a winger, someone that wanted to take on his man at every opportunity. You know, you look at the likes of if we look at players right now in the league, I mean, we can actually go through the top teams. If you look at Liverpool, again, Mo Salah, we've mentioned, he's a wide forward. Cody Gakpo is a wide forward. You know, doesn't get as many goals as Mo Salah, but in that position that he plays on the left-hand side is a wide forward. Luis Diaz, I will say Luis Diaz is a winger. Yeah, Luis Diaz is a winger. We go to Man City. You know, Man City have Savinho, who's a winger. Jack Grealish, who's a number 10 playing from out wide. Jeremy Doku, who's a winger. Oscar Bob, who's a winger. Bernardo Silva is a 10 playing from out wide. You know, Chelsea, Cole Palmer, when he plays on the right, is a number 10 from out wide. Madueke, we've mentioned, is a winger. Pedro Neto is a winger. Sancho, when he was there, was a number 10 from out wide. You know, yeah, there's loads of players that I say we can differentiate. So, as Gamer said, Harvey Barnes is a winger and Anthony Gordon is a winger. They're two wingers, yeah, in their team, which is why they want Anthony Elanga, because Anthony Elanga fits the profile of what they've got already. You've got Barnes and Gordon, who are two wingers. Then you've got Elanga, who's a winger, and then Jacob Murphy, who's a winger. Whereas if they was to get a Brian Mbeumo, you're getting a wide forward there, someone that would want to get goals. And then Mohamed Kudus is a wide forward as well, but can be classed as a number 10 from out wide. Because if you look at when he played for Ajax, he was playing more in field. So yeah. Gamer says Yamal. Yamal's an easy one. Yamal's a number 10 from out wide. That's the most easiest one, Yamal. And all it is, it's about just knowing styles of players. You know, you look at Rafinha. Rafinha is a bit of a hybrid. You know, in actual fact, Rafinha can fit into three of them. He can fit into a number 10 from out wide. He can fit into being a winger and a wide forward. So he's probably one of the very few that can be classed as all three. You know, Vinicius Jr. is a wide forward. Rodrigo is a 10 playing from out wide. Kylian Mbappe, again, he's a wide forward, but obviously he plays through the middle at Real Madrid. So yeah, there's loads of players like this, guys, that you can just differentiate to what players that they are, you know. But big up, man. Some good conversations. DXR says, this is some next level, advanced level talk. I ain't got the brains for it. But bro, you know what? Yeah, it's not really hard to understand. I'll be honest. It's just, again, I mean, I find it easy, you know, because it's just about knowing, it's just about looking at styles of player. I can look at any player and just know what kind of player they are, you know, and know what team they can fit into. Like, I find that very easy because it's just through years of just watching, playing, coaching, and just studying the game. You know, so yeah, I find it quite easy, but yeah, it's not really hard to understand in that sense, you know. But big up, man. So Sham says he's an attacking midfielder. Who's that you're talking about, Sham? Who's the attacking midfielder? So Gamer says Man United CR7 left winger or wide forward. So when Ronaldo first came to Man United, you know, obviously this is the days of the 4-4-2. You know, obviously I'm showing my age a bit now, but this is the days of the 4-4-2, yeah. And Ronaldo was more of a winger. But then when United started seeing the goals, and again, it's about the transformation of Ronaldo. You know, the transformation in terms of his physical build. You know, he got a lot bigger. You know, he was electric as well. So when Man United started seeing Ronaldo get the numbers, this is when Ronaldo became a wide forward. You know, and at Real Madrid, he was a wide forward. But then obviously when he was getting a lot more experienced at Real Madrid, and obviously he started competing with Messi, it would be a case where just get Ronaldo into positions where he can score, you know. But Ronaldo at Man United started off as a left winger, or well, as a right winger, I should say, or right midfielder, and then went to a wide forward, but playing from the left, you know. And this is where it kind of changed for him. So Sham says if Chelsea get as much as 50 million for Madueke and get Kudus for around 60, then Chelsea come out on top from the deal. Yeah, I mean that's obvious, Sham. Yeah, listen, if they happen to do that, then as I said, man, Chelsea will be laughing. Put it that way, they'll be laughing to get 50 mil for Madueke and then spend that money on Madueke. They're laughing. They're gonna get a better player, and they've got rid of a guy that isn't worth that money. So, yeah. Oh, Sham says on about Sancho. So yeah, Sancho's not a. He's not an attacking midfielder. He's more of a 10 from out wide. Like he's a. Yeah, you could say he's an attacking midfielder. But I'm talking about from out wide. Yeah, he's like an Eden Hazard, a number 10 playing out wide basically. And a lot of these players now exist number 10s from out wide. We mentioned Lamine Yamal. You know, he's a prime example. Messi as well. When Messi played out wide, he wasn't a winger. He was a number 10 from out wide, but he was an anomaly because he got numbers and was a creator, just like Neymar. Neymar and Messi are probably the two most identical players, but just different foots, basically. You know, they're two number 10s that are creators first and foremost, but get numbers. And this is why, for me, they're two of the best players of their generation, two of the best players ever, for me. Gamer says, I'm 33. You're still young, buddy. Yeah, listen, man, I feel young. I feel like I'm like 20, 25, 26, to be honest with you, man. I can't lie. So you call it a 10 playing wide. Yeah, listen. Obviously, people might call it cams or playing out wide. Obviously, central attacking midfielder. But yeah, I call it number, because that position there is a number 10. And the reason I say it's a number 10 position is because looking at the players of the past, the likes of Dennis Bergkamp, you know, Paolo Di Canio. If anyone remembers a player called Benito Carboni, Matt Letizia, you know, Francesco Totti, Del Piero, Riquelme, Ronaldinho, Pablo Aimar. There's loads of players, you know, that I've probably forgot about. Zidane, you know, there's players I've forgotten about. They were pure number 10s, these players, you know, and you would never see these guys playing out wide, because back then it was a 4-4-2 era, or it was a number 10 playing behind the striker. So you wouldn't see these players playing from out wide. Ronaldinho of that list that I said, and even Zidane. If anyone remembers Zidane, Zidane played for Real Madrid, and if I was to tell you guys Zidane was a number 10, but Zidane played left midfield for Real Madrid, you wouldn't believe it. Like, you wouldn't believe it. And obviously Ronaldinho as well played on the left wing, because of obviously he was more mobile than a lot of these number 10s that were there in the previous era, previous era. So Gamer says, what about Messi when was with Ronaldinho? Is that Messi a right winger or a wide forward? So Messi coming through was a right winger. But again, you got to look at Messi coming through when he was younger, playing with Ronaldinho. Again, he had his youthful exuberance about him. He was someone that wanted to take on his player, even though he does still do that in his prime years. But him coming through with Ronaldinho and Eto'o, you had a right winger and left winger, and then you had Eto'o as a striker. But Messi and Ronaldinho were more or less two 10s playing out wide. But Messi in his younger years was more of a right winger, just like Ronaldo. But then, as his career went on, he started playing a bit more. Messi had a free role, basically. You know what I mean? So, as I said, players like Messi and Ronaldinho were hybrids. I mean, they were anomalies, because they were players that could play in those positions from out wide, but they had the freedom to go where they wanted, because these guys were just pure creators, and they were the best players in the team. So they're players that they might set up as players playing from out wide, but they would find themselves in field because they were just that talented, and they were tasked with just making. They were tasked with just getting on the ball and making things happen. So yeah, Messi was a right winger when he first came through. Um, but then, as I said, once he made his mark in that team, he was, as I say, a 10 playing from out wide. But then he's an anomaly because he had the license of setting up as a someone that played out wide, but just went wherever he went, and obviously other teammates would fill in the gaps basically. Um, so yeah. So Gamer says, who's the best midfielder of all time? Mine is Zidane. Again, you know what it is, and sorry to get too technical, Gamer, yeah, but this is kind of a subjective question because when you're saying who's the best midfielder, um, are you asking who do I think is the best midfielder, or are you asking who is my favorite? Because again, with midfielders, you've got defensive midfielders, you've got box to box central midfielders, you've got attacking midfielders like number 10s. So are you asking me who's my best midfielder, or who is the best midfielder of all time in general? Defensive, attacking, or central? Because again, it's subjective and it's going to be a hard question to answer. And again, so you're asking who you think is the best and favorite also. So again, it's hard because it's not a simple question to answer. It's difficult. So I think for me, it's easier for me to tell you who my favorite midfielders are. I like Busquets, Iniesta, Xavi, Thiago Alcantara. If we're looking at the era now, Pedri, Vitinha. I like Marco Verratti as well. Like there's so many midfielders: Fabregas, Modric. Yeah, the list goes on. I mean, I can't actually tell you who my favorite midfielder is because there's too many. So it's one of them things where if someone gives me a player, I can tell you if I like them or not. It's that easier for me because there's players that I probably miss out that I like to watch him play. So Gamer says, I think I like Zico because how good he played. I mean, how he played against Brazil, etc. And for France, good man. Zizou, sorry, Zizou. Yeah, listen, Zinedine Zidane's one of the greatest players of all time. That goes without saying, man. 100%. That goes without saying. Yeah, the headbutt on Materazzi was mad. I mean, I remember watching that, and to be honest with you, at the time, I remember watching it saying, "Oh, Zidane, what have you done, man?" Because let's make no mistake about it. If Zidane stays on that pitch, then if he stay on that pitch, then France win the World Cup. I have no doubt in my mind that happens. But obviously, we find out what was said after the game that Materazzi actually what's the word? He I forgot the word now. I forgot the word. He verbally abused Zidane's sister. And obviously Zidane playing in Italy would know what obviously Materazzi would have said, obviously formerly of Juventus. And again, Materazzi obviously clever in what he done, knowing Zidane would probably flip, and that's what he did. So when I say did he do the right thing, well, technically he did, because if anyone abuses your family, people that are close to you, you're gonna react in a way that many people probably won't agree with. But I have no problem with Zidane doing what he did because any normal person, if they get a family member verbally abused, is gonna react. Obviously, in the heat of the moment in the game, he cost France, and that's something that he's got to live with. But yeah, it's kind of a hard one, really, to say did he do the right thing. I think in his head he did, and I have no problem that he did that. But in the basis of the game, where the game was lost in that sense, you might look at it and say he should have kept his head, but he should have kept his head. No pun intended. But as I said, yeah, it's a difficult one, but I have no problem him doing what he did. But as a France fan, yeah, it it was annoying to see that happen and him getting sent off because, as I said, if Zidane doesn't get sent off, France win that World Cup, no doubt. Yeah, listen, Materazzi knew what he was doing. 100% he knew what he was doing. And yeah, some people say he was clever. You know, I think sometimes, you know, these things happen in football. You know, I'm not a massive fan of other players doing things like that. But whether we like it or not, these things happen. You know, and if these players can try and get one over on their opponent and do things like this, they're gonna do it. You know, but as I said, man, I think Zidane, in terms of the experience, you know, and the know-how, he probably should have kept his cool. But if someone's gonna if someone's gonna verbally abuse a family member, then I'm sorry, man. Like, you can't really police how someone's gonna react to that, you know. So yeah, it is what it is, man. But yeah, yeah, guys. As I said, man. Let's just going back before we wrap about about Madueke. Let me know what you think. Do you think Madueke? Do you think Madueke takes Arsenal any closer to winning the league title? Because I'll be honest, for me, he doesn't. You know, and it's a joke really that there isn't a lot of Arsenal fans looking at this and thinking, yeah, this because I haven't seen a lot of people be dissatisfied about it really. You know, I haven't seen too much, but yeah, let me know what you think about Madueke. Do you think Madueke is going to make any kind of impact if he goes to Arsenal? Do you think Chelsea, you know, have done a number on Arsenal again and are laughing? Because and the thing as well, yeah, if Chelsea do sell Madueke and he goes, Chelsea will go in for Kudus, in my opinion. Kudus or someone of that, or even, who knows, Rodrigo, you know. I reckon they could go in for one of them players because they're going to have the money. And let's not forget as well, if they win that Club World Cup, because they're in the semi-finals now, that's going to be an extra 100 million. So if they get 100 million for winning it, and then they get 50 mil for Madueke, why wouldn't you just use 150 million in trying to go for, and probably a bit more, in trying to go for both Rodrigo and Kudus? You never know. This could happen, you know. But Gamer says Real Madrid versus Dortmund today and PSG versus Bayern. What's your prediction? So the Real Madrid against Dortmund game today is at 8 o'clock. What time is the PSG Bayern? Is that on Channel 5 or is that on the Zone? But I'm gonna say Madrid to beat Dortmund. I'm gonna go 3-1, 3-2 Madrid to beat Dortmund. I know Dortmund have got Garassi who gets goals, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure how they're gonna beat Madrid, if I'm honest. So I'm gonna say, yeah, 3-1 or 3-2 Madrid. And again, Xabi Alonso will know how to play against Dortmund as well, because obviously him formerly being of him formerly being of what's the name of Leverkusen. Oh, it's on the Zone. It's on the Zone. Okay, I might have to try and. What is the Zone free? Sham, is the Zone free? PSG Bayern can be a very good game, but I expect PSG to win that. I'm gonna say 2-1 PSG. But as we know, Harry Kane, you know, don't rule him out. That guy, no matter how Bayern are playing, that guy always gets a goal, man. Like, he's inevitable, Harry Kane, man. And guys, don't forget as well, man, Jamal Musiala is the new number 10 now at Bayern Munich. I wonder if he's going to start, because he was on the bench the last game. Wonder if he's going to start. I'm not too sure. So Arsenal are doing an Arsenal. No wonder they don't win the league. Yeah, listen, 100% Sham. That team ain't serious, man. They're not serious, because how they're going in for Sesko And Madueke is laughable, man, personally, you know. But that's up to them, man. Big up to Harsh Rajora. Says, hey, bro, what's happening? Yeah, not much, not much. Big up yourself for coming through. Guys, if you haven't smashed that like button or subscribed, make sure you do if it's your first time in there. Or if you just come in. Obviously, only 8 likes at the moment. Let's try and up the likes. Big up yourselves. So Harsh Rajora says, after 30 days, I'm in government exams. If I cleared, that would be earning wealth. Just motivate me in 20 seconds. Love from India. Yeah, big up to Harsh, man. Congratulations, man, on your exams. Listen, the one thing I would say with, and this goes for anyone, you know, anything that you want to do, you know, and you put your mind to it and you put the work in, you will make it happen. You know, there's no secret to success. You ask any of these people that have excelled, all it takes is a bit of belief, you know, and hard work. And listen, you can't fail, man. That's all I would say. There's no secret to it, man. You put the work in and you have that belief that you are good enough, it's gonna happen. So that's the biggest thing that I would say. Big up to Daniela Iacona as well. Big up for coming on, Daniela. Okay, it's free to watch, Sham. Okay, I'm gonna, cause I've got the Wales and Holland women's Euros on at the moment, and I'll be honest with you, I don't particularly want to watch that game. I want to watch more the France-England game, but I'm gonna try and get that. Yeah, I'm gonna try and get that in a minute. So yeah, Real Madrid's on Channel 5. Yeah, that's at 8 o'clock. So Relaxing Gamer says, I don't want PSG to win. I want someone different to win. Don't like seeing the same team win everything all the time. I hear that, but listen, if they're that team that's so good, it's up to the other teams to try and figure a way to beat them. You know, so that's how it goes. I mean, if you're dominating, then you can't blame them for dominating. It's up to these other teams to try and find a way of getting around that. You know, and as I said, yeah, if they win, they would have deserved it. And as I said, they're just carrying on from what they've done. You know, in European football. So for me, they're the favourites. You know, and if they beat Bayern Munich, I'd expect them to go all the way. I think Bayern Munich, well, they could face Real Madrid actually in the semi-finals if Madrid beat Dortmund. So they're still, for me, they've got 3 tough games for me. Bayern Munich, if they beat them, you know, potentially Real Madrid, you'd expect them to beat Dortmund. And in the final, they've got either a Chelsea or Fluminense. And Fluminense, I think at the moment have been the surprise package, you know. So yeah, they're gonna have three games if they go all the way. That will be tough games for them, I think, anyway. Yeah, big up, Harsh, man. No worries. Listen, as I said, man, just focus and just keep positive, man. That's all I would say. So yeah, the tournament comes every 4 years. It's the first ever Club World Cup. So whoever wins it makes it into the history books. Yeah. Again, man, it's I mean, I'll be honest with you, I haven't really been watching it. You know, I've only watched, I haven't watched a full game, funny enough. I've watched a couple of the highlights. And I see the Al Hilal got beat yesterday by Fluminense, you know. So yeah, I've seen a couple of the highlights, but so yeah. So Sham says Job won't be playing against Jude because he picked up a yellow card last game. Oh, is it? I didn't even know that. How mad's that? The Bainham brothers would have played against each other. I actually do think Joe Bellingham is a better footballer than his brother Jude. I actually think he's a better footballer, but obviously Jude's got has got the bigger name. And Gamer says, yeah, Gamer, do you know what? It's funny you come out of that actually, because that was probably the game that I watched for the longest. And again, I only watched it because obviously for Messi, for obvious reasons, yeah. Yeah, Inter Miami against PSG. And I tell you what, yeah, I couldn't watch, I had to stop watching. I think I watched the first 40 minutes and I had to stop watching because Messi being one of my favourite ever players, there was no way I could watch any more because there was a few things that I didn't like, first and foremost, yeah. I didn't like what Jordi Alba and Luis Suarez was doing. So Alba and Suarez, what they were doing, and again, this shows a lack of class from both players because on that pitch you had Messi, Sergio Busquets, Jordi Alba, Luis Suarez, all four of them formerly of Barcelona, and all four players that have played at a higher level than a lot of these players that they were playing with at Inter Miami. Now, what I didn't like about what Jordi Alba and what Suarez was doing, they were making it clear to their teammates that they don't respect them because that Inter Miami team wasn't good enough, you know. And you could see when PSG were pressing them, they were giving the ball away and they couldn't get the ball to Messi in dangerous areas. And the game became Messi and Luis Suarez became passengers because PSG just done a number on them. They were pressurizing the defense and they couldn't get the ball to Messi to do his damage. And that was the whole way throughout the first half, you know. And but what I said to you, I didn't like what Alba and Suarez were doing. You can see them visibly frustrated, but they kept complaining at their teammates. But they were making it obviously known that they don't rate their teammates, you know. Whereas I look at Busquets and Messi, Busquets and Messi knew that they were in a tough game and knew that this team isn't good enough to beat PSG, but they wasn't like gesturing to their teammates like they're shit. Whereas Alba and Suarez was, and for me that showed a lack of class from both players. But yeah, exactly what Gamer says. They knew their team was shit, but they didn't make it known because, in a sense, you know, this is when the big players stand up and try and help their team. But Alba and Suarez was showing a lack of respect for their teammates by making it obvious, by making it clear that they didn't rate them, you know. And as I said to you, I saw Busquets give the ball away, and for the amount of years I've watched football, you know, watching Sergio Busquets regularly, the guy very rarely gave the ball away, you know, and to see him get pressed, I think he got pressed by Fabian Ruiz, actually, compatriot. And then obviously I think PSG scored from that. And as I said, watching that happen, watching Messi not get the ball and become a passenger, I thought, yeah, I can't watch this game anymore, man, because in the Miami collectively, you've got those four players I've mentioned as well. They're all aging. You know, they were never going to beat PSG, and PSG thoroughly deserved that victory. But I couldn't watch any more, man, because Messi was just not in the game, you know. But as I said, yeah, it was a hard watch. It was a hard watch to see that. But yeah, that's probably the only game that I've watched regularly, man, if I'm honest, you know. But yeah, that's that. But guys, listen up. Big up yourselves for coming on each and every time. Big up to all the mods, you know. Big up for the questions, you know. Some good questions in there, you know. And guys, yeah, let me know what you think of Madueke in the comments after. You know, let me know if you think that Madueke gets over the line from Arsenal, or do you think that they might actually see sense and not go for him, you know. But I'll tell you this now: if Chelsea sell Madueke for 50 mil, you know, to think that Madueke is going to cost, what, 10 mil short of the likes of, you know, Acuna, possibly a Embuemo, I think Chelsea will be laughing. Because for me, Madueke is not a 50 million pound player. 30 million at max. You know what I mean? Because I don't rate him. But who knows, man? Who knows? But that's Arsenal's problem. And again, I'd expect backlash off some of their fans if that happens, you know. And you can't blame them. You can't blame them. So yeah, Gamer says, I'm looking forward. Real game tonight. The fun begins. Yeah, listen, I'm gonna try and catch the PSG buying game now, and then I'm gonna watch the Real Madrid game later with Dortmund. I might try and see if I can catch that as well. So Gamer says, how many players Newcastle need to stay top 5 for Champions League? How many players Newcastle need to stay top five? So yeah, as we mentioned before, gamer. For me, Newcastle need to go and get a top class central defender. They need to go and get a number 10, a right winger, and possibly another striker, someone that can. Because if Callum Wilson, I don't know if he's staying there or going, but someone that can cover for Isak or even compete with him. Why they've not gone for someone like Johan Visser is surprising, because I think Visser's what, 28, I think he might be. I think Visser will be a great player for Newcastle, someone that can compete with Isak. Because obviously they're going to be in Champions League, obviously going for league places as well, cups. I think Visser, the fact that they haven't gone for Visser is surprising, if I'm honest with you. But I'll go as far as saying I think Newcastle need about 5 players for me to sustain regular Champions League football and a title charge, in my opinion. Five players in key positions, Because I look at Livramento, if he doesn't go, yeah, he's a certainty. Lewis Hall's to come back, and again, I think he's a good player. The defence, they've had a good season. The likes of Fabian Schär, Dan Burn, Botman's come back. I think they need to get another right-sided centre-back that can compete with Shaw or overtake what he's doing. The midfield, obviously, as we know of, Joel Linton, Tonali, and Bruno Guimaraes, for me, set in stone. You'd probably say, if we're being picky, can they get another midfielder to as probably backup or to compete with that 3? And number 10 for me is a must, because I think if they're at home and they want to go, more attacking and be a bit more creative, and number 10, rather than having that 3, might be good. And then obviously, as we know, the right winger, they definitely need an upgrade in right wing. I think left wing, you've got Gordon and Barnes. I don't think Eddie Howe would get rid of either. And then obviously the striker, we know you've got Isak, but I think having someone that can compete or cover him is what's going to be needed. So yeah, I'll say about 5 players, definitely 5 players. So Arsenal can't even get a left winger or striker, but we'll get Madueke over the line so quick. And that tells you everything, Sham. Tells you everything. It tells you that this club ain't serious, But again, I'm not an Arsenal fan. I can just voice my opinion. But, if you're an Arsenal fan, how do you feel, man? Because you must be absolutely fed up with this club. Not doing what's required. But that's something that they've got to deal with, unfortunately. But yeah, guys, big up yourselves for coming on each and every time. As I said, make sure you smash the like button. And guys, keep an eye out for my, obviously I'm doing my Next Gen 50. So the best 50 young players, obviously that are under 21 in the world. I've done 4. I've done 4 over the last couple of days. So 2 of them will be coming out today. 2 of them will be coming out tomorrow. So yeah, keep an eye on that. Obviously I've scheduled them to come out. I'm not sure. I can't remember what time I've done. But yeah, keep an eye on that, as they'll be coming out today and tomorrow. And then hopefully back on Monday with Jonas, obviously probably at 5:30, just waiting for him to confirm. And as I said, yeah, keep an eye on the schedule, guys, to see when I go live. And big up yourselves each and every time for coming through. And as I said, make sure you put your comments, guys, in after the show's ended, and let me know what you think about today's discussion. And yeah, as I said, I'll catch you guys in a bit. Take it easy.